Harriet's Florida Kitchen. I'm Harriet. This is my kitchen, and we're in Florida, and it is really hot. It's the 4th of August, and that is a big deal because it is my birthday, my favorite day of the year except for Christmas. It's such a favorite day that I celebrate my birthday for the entire month of August, except on years when I have a big zero, and then I celebrate it for 6 months. I have been called a birthday abuser by people in my household, but that's fine. I think it's I don't care. I still celebrate every day. So this is an especially nice year, exciting year, because I am turning the same age as the year I graduated from high school. So a shout out to my fellow class of 69 from Plant High School, from HB Plant High School in Tampa, Florida. We are all turning 69 this year, and it is a great year. I mean, every day above ground is a good day, right? So we are going to make today, but one of my friends, Liz, is making a French custard pie for me for my own birthday, but I still wanted to make a birthday cake. I just was in the mood. So I thought, well, I'm gonna make one for my friend Judy, whose favorite cake is chocolate. Now, this is no ordinary chocolate cake. Years ago, we had a wonderful family in our church, the Belts. And Mrs. Belt was a very famous cook. And she, one night, actually many nights for our covered dish suppers, made fabulous chocolate cake with fabulous chocolate icing. So I, a teenager with great foresight, asked her for the recipe. Here it is in her own handwriting. I have this, and I also have the icing. And I'm going to give it to you. You get to have this recipe today. So I'm going to turn off the camera, and we're going to move over across the kitchen, because the first thing we're going to do is cream the Crisco. Don't be startled. I know it sounds disgusting, but it makes this cake very wonderful and fluffy. And moist. We're going to cream the Crisco and the sugar. So we're moving right now. So the first thing we do is we put in 2.5 cups of sugar into this, and then we are going to put in a full cup. Oh, this is supposed to be. I am now adding 1 cup of Crisco. Now, for British viewers, there is an equivalent of Crisco, and I have it in the recipe, which is down. If you look at it on your computer, you'll see an arrow on the right-hand side just below the video, and you'll see the recipe, and on the recipe I've given you the brand that is available. It is a white vegetable shortening available in the grocery store, right? We're now going to cream this. In the meantime, we are going to crack 2 eggs, and we are going to beat them. We're ready to put into the mixture. Just takes a little of this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make soured milk. Now, you do not let your milk just actually sour, because I think it's very good for you if you do that. Oh, sorry, this if you want to. And so the next thing is this. You can take cream or milk. In this case, I'm using milk, and you either put in vinegar or you squeeze a tablespoon of lemon. And a seed has just gone in, which you do not want in your cake. So squeeze this, and then through my fingers to make sure that we do not get the seed in there. There it goes. Okay, that's fine. Okay. And then you pour in a cup of milk to bring it up to 1 cup. So you don't pre-measure you don't pre-measure the milk. You just bring it right up, and see it's already curdling, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay. Now we're going to let that sit for 5 minutes while we're waiting for that to cream. We're going to sift 2.5 cups. I've got the recipe right here. 2.5 cups. Putting this up on the wonderful thing that my friend Gray gave me to hold my recipes. We're going to sift 2.5 cups of flour and 1 cup of Hershey's cocoa, which looks like this. Now, let me tell you. Usually, I tell you to sift before you measure, but in this case, because you have to, the instructions say to sift them together. You measure the flour first. Measure it pretty lightly. You kind of don't pack it in there, but you just measure it in so that it's flat across the top of the measuring, and you put in the cocoa, which is totally 100% bitter, 100% cacao, naturally unsweetened. And we're going to sift it. This so it's all together. Any sifter will do. I do love this one. I've had it forever. You can't find one because I've looked and looked. Well, unless you find it in an antique store, I guess. Okay, so you just sift the flour and the cocoa through there. Okay. Perfect. Now, over here. And now we are going to, the next thing we're going to do is put a cup of boiling, we're going to boil a cup and a quarter of water, and we're going to boil it. And then once that's boiled, we're going to put 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda. So I'm going to do that right now, and then bring the boiling hot water over here. The boiling water has just come out of the microwave. So now we're going to add 2 teaspoons. This is a 2 teaspoon. Woo! Woo! Well, that was so exciting. Who knew it was going to do that? Okay. All right. Now you know. Be careful. So we're putting the eggs into here. And we're going to stir that first. Now I've creamed. Notice that I have creamed the Crisco and the sugar. So it looks nice and smooth. Not super smooth. It's still kind of grainy. But it's pretty smooth. So now the eggs get nicely creamed in there. I'm going to put this here. Now it's going to go like this. I think you can see it. Can't you? Yes. Okay. Sort of. Put it like that. Here. That's better. Swell. Okay. Now, I'll stop that. The next thing that goes in will be the soured milk, which is kind of, you see it's kind of clumpy. Can you see that? Let me see if you can tell it when I put it in. You can hear it kind of go thunk, thunk, thunk. It's prettily creamy. Stop, stop, stop. This is the most exciting cake I've ever made in my life. Now I'll do it really slowly. Okay. Great. Now, fortunately, this is super clean, so I'm going to dust it off because we want our measurements to be correct. Put that in there. Okay. Oh, Mrs. Belt did not tell me that some of these things might explode. Maybe this was a trick. She gave this to me about 50 years ago, and she's not here now to enjoy her joke. All these years later, she had a great sense of humor. But I sort of don't think she meant it to explode. All right, so this is, smooth that off. Now let's mix this up again. Now we're gonna take, the the soda and hot water, and that's gonna go in. And it hasn't exploded again, so that's really a good thing, I think. All right, now we're gonna blend it. I think that this is ready to be put into the pan. Now we have a problem with the pan. This is a much more complicated recipe, isn't it? So the recipe calls for a 15-inch by 11-inch pan. Well, you just can't get a baking pan that's that large. Mrs. Belt used she used an old roasting pan to make this large cake. So I've been thinking about it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this aside to lick it later. Whoa. Whoa. Really good. Okay, here's my roasting pan. As you can see, it's great for a turkey, a goose, whatever. So I'm going to, because this is the correct size, lick that finger, I'm going to pour it in here, and we're going to see how deep it is, because she is very specific about the timing. She says do it for 30 minutes. Do not test it. Do not check it. Get it out of the oven. Now, one of the things I remember about this is it is a very moist and wonderful cake. And that would be why. She says, even if it doesn't look done, get it out of the oven. So, okay. So, in the meantime, here we have this giant pot. Oh, that's a lot for me to lick later. That's okay. Okay. Spreading this out so that we can see this is the actual size it's supposed to be. And now we're going to measure it. Literally, we're going to measure it like this. And we're going to see how deep it's supposed to be. So it's really supposed to be about, looks like it's about 1/2 inch. Okay. Like that. We're going to butter it. The one we're really going to use. Now, Mrs. Belt said to just grease it with Crisco, but I think probably we have enough Crisco. Thank you very much. So I am buttering it with butter. Good. And the rest of it, I'm going to put, I'll measure it out and I'll let you know how much it makes, because it's probably about, looks like it's about 2 cups. Looks like it's about 2 cups of chocolate. So, even this out, tap it, and I'm going to put it in the oven. And I'll be back in exactly 30 minutes, whether it looks done or not. Enough for, this is kind of a mess. I had enough for 2 of these kind of wonky little cupcakes. These are a little bit bigger because they used to belong to my grandmother. These are a little bit smaller, but they all have butter. I have 12 minutes left. I think what I'll do is put them on the bottom shelf down here. It's totally an experiment because I don't know how long they really should cook. But I'm putting them in. They have 12 minutes and 22 seconds left. Okay, we'll see how they do. If they don't turn out, that's okay too. Let's see how we did. Golly, wow. And you can see that it's got a little wiggle to it. Let's see. I'm gonna trust Mrs. Belt. She gave me her phone number, but it's no good anymore. All right, let's see if you can see it. All right. See, it kind of wiggles. I am going to stick my cake tester in just in case. It is not coming out clean, but she says it's done. Okay. Okay. I'm just a little bit chicken, so it could have been a little deeper than it was supposed to be, so I've got it in for 5 more minutes. In the meantime, these little cupcakes are not wiggling, so you can see they do not wiggle. And if we put this in, let's see what happens. It's coming out with some stuff on it. Let's see. All right, in 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take her at her word, and we'll see how it looks. Okay. Well, to keep myself from being nervous, I think we'll just go ahead and make the icing. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter already in here. We've got to put 2 tablespoons of Crisco in here. So just measure that out. Just a sec. Out of here. Okay. Crisco into the pan. I'm going to melt this together. Okay. Looks fine. Crisco goes in here. All right, and then we put in 2 ounces of Baker's Bitter chocolate, which looks like this. Each of these little squares is 1/4 of an ounce, so that goes in there. And finally, we're supposed to be using Baker's semi-sweet chocolate, but there was not any at Publix today, so I am cheating and I am using Nestle's Toll House semi-sweet, which is pretty much the same flavor. And I'm putting those in, and these we're going to melt on top of the stove. Okay, as you can see, this is melting nicely. And 3 seconds, this is coming out. The cake, we'll check. Let's let this sit for just a second on top of here. Oh, I do hope it looks better than it did a minute ago. Let's find out. Okay. All right, that looks like it's pulling away even. Still seriously juicy in there. Well, all right. 5 more minutes. Could be a mistake, but I'm going to do it. And there it goes, and there goes the icing. Let's stop the boiling of the icing. Okay. Now, you know that I usually say sift after you measure, and that's what I'm going to do this. And we didn't do it for the cake, but we are going to do it for this. I just think it's probably going to be better. So I've measured it in advance. I'm putting this in here to sift because and then I'm going to remeasure it before I actually put it in the bowl. Cake, okay. All right, let's see how the cake looks. Okay, that's great. So that was in an extra 10 minutes. So I don't care what Mrs. Belt says. I think you better taste it. Better test it with the cake thing. And so that's 300, because she knew her oven really well. And we all don't know each other's ovens. So 30 minutes at 300, and then check it for at least 10 more minutes, 5 more minutes, and then another 5 more minutes. All right, I'm going to let that sit and cool while we go back to the icing. We are now going to measure 2.5 cups of confectioner's sugar into the bowl. Yep. 1 cup, 2 cups. I know there are people who are real cooks out there who are sitting there going, oh my gosh, there's such an easier way to do this. But anyway, this is how we're doing it today. So that's 2 cups. Let's put a little bit more in here. All right, you see, it does kind of thin it out. 2 cups. Okay. And now we have 1 more, and that's 1/2 cup. All right. We have now got that in there. Now I have measured out 6 tablespoons of milk. That goes in. And then we do 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And here it is. There we go. Okay. Now we have we've got this flour in, the sugar in, we've got the milk in, we've got the vanilla, and then we're going to put the chocolatey stuff. So this will be great. First of all, I got the cake out. The cake came out really well. Of course, I had parchment, so that was kind of a no-brainer. And it's sitting here cooling on one of my racks. These little ones weren't in one of the no stick kinds of things, and I didn't have my little cupcake papers, so I pulled them out. When I used the knife and went all the way around, that's how this one came out. So not so great. But when I just kind of lifted them out like that, they were good. So I thought maybe I'd show you how we do it here and see how that goes. So it looks to me like, yeah, kind of a similar situation. messed up ones. But you can see they're kind of gooey. Can you tell that? Can you see how gooey they are? Let me see if you can see that in the light. I'm not sure you can. Can you see it? It's kind of got a gloss on it. Anyway. Oh gosh. It's like the top is a little bit its own icing. And we haven't put the icing on it yet. That'll be tomorrow. But this is good cake. Oh, good. Turn it off the camera now. Later that same week, we're now going to ice the cake. We had put the cake in the refrigerator and made the icing, and now we're going to deliver it today. So we're going to ice the cake, and because I had it in the refrigerator overnight, it got a little hard, which is the way it's supposed to do. So I added about maybe half a tablespoon of water, and I then microwaved the whole thing for about 20 seconds. And it's definitely soft enough to spread, and we know it will harden because it did a beautiful job in the refrigerator. I want you to know that when those little pieces, those little cupcakes were so lovely and sort of soft and chocolatey and shiny on the top, that my grandchildren thought they were iced. Oh, look, it is iced. Okay, good. Glad that went off. Now, so I will now take a little bite, and let's see how it is. I'll take it right out of core sample out of the middle. Okay, just have it right off the knife. Tastes exactly the way chocolate cake should taste. And it's so good. Until, let's just cover up my little hole that I made here. Okay. Core sample. Okay. Thank you for joining me on my birthday. Actually, the beginning of the birthday, the month-long August birthday fiesta, which won't end till August the 30th. That's September, April, June, and August the 31st. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll just have a little Judy's cake, maybe another core sample. I think there's enough icing. Okay, thanks so much.